Hello, and welcome. You're listening to the realest podcast out there, the C.A.P.Cast. Brought to you by your hosts, Eli, Maverick, Austin, Tyler, Damion, and whoever else decides to talk in the background this week. If you wish to support the show, like, subscribe, and leave a comment to let us know your thoughts on today's topic, or how annoying your least favorite host was this week. And without further ado, I present to you the realest episode yet. No cap.
That's a good
In the
name.
grand scheme of things, everyone's on in the middle of the spectrum.
I'm not on the spectrum.
I'm not having this argument again. You're fucking retarded.
Alright, Damien,
I'm
prove
not
it.
retarded.
Tell us about the least autistic trip you've ever been on.
The least autistic.
Can you say this was the least autistic?
Hi, I'm Tyler.
Oh,
Guys, welcome back to another episode of the C.A.P.Cast.
by
How
another
dare
episode. You mean unofficially until throwing it out now? Season 2.
Season 2
of the C.A.P.Cast. Yes, unofficially, we just threw it out.
Is this season 2?
This
Our
is season
producer
2.
Eli is ecstatic. We can tell he hates.
When did this happen?
He hates it. He's going
It's
to have to change
happening
the
right
title.
now. This is season
He
2.
hates it. He's
This
got
is
to
the
do it.
first episode of season 2?
Yes.
This is
First
episode
episode.
1, season 2.
Warren was not told about this at all.
As you may have picked up, we're back in person.
We're back.
We
Yes.
sure are. Things to look forward to in season 2. Spoiler alert: your least favorite host dies.
Good thing I'm everyone's favorite host.
Vote in the comments below who you want to die.
So go. Let's introduce ourselves. Go ahead. I know you already said your name.
I already said that I'm Tyler.
Yeah.
Well, I'm Damion.
I am Eli.
I'm Austin.
And I'm Maverick.
Can you prove it?
I'm Maverick.
So tonight,
Picture didn't happen.
we're going to be talking about a very special subject
For a special someone.
that Damien is
For a
going to...
very special someone.
Damien's gonna enjoy because Damien
I'm
just got
special.
done circumnavigating the globe,
It's true, guys. I did it. I survived.
I don't believe you.
and he got zero pussy during the whole thing.
I got close.
No,
you didn't.
It didn't
no,
happen.
you didn't. I
And
don't
you'll hear
believe you.
about that later on
Bro,
tonight.
do or do not, there is no try. I'm a Yoda your ass.
I got her Snapchat.
No, you
That
didn't.
does not
Bet.
count.
You have to go all the way back. Where who's
Alright,
Snapchat
I'll
did
put
you
this
get?
girl's Snapchat in the link below.
She's probably not going to respond.
Okay, well.
Oh, because she ghosted you?
Yeah, it kind of seems like she did.
Ooh.
She didn't even open my Snap.
That doesn't sound like close to
That's
me.
not close
That
at
doesn't
all.
even
We
sound
talked
like
for
in
like
the
4
ballpark.
hours in the airport.
That's like passing a stranger on the street close, man.
Dude, in Alois?
Eloise. She's British.
Oh,
You dodged a bullet on that one.
yeah.
I don't know.
Dude,
She was
did you
kind
even
of
see her
hot.
How was her teeth?
Her teeth was pretty straight. It wasn't wooden, if that's what you're
That
asking.
makes
No, I'm
sense.
asking if
no.
they're crooked.
They weren't. I said they were pretty straight.
Okay, so once upon a time, where
Pretty
did this
straight.
start?
Once upon a time, I decided to go on a trip circumnavigating.
Yeah, this
love this
episode,
camera.
I don't know if it was officially said, it's about Damien's trip.
This is about Damien's trip.
His big Indonesia trip specifically.
Yes.
He doesn't do drugs, allegedly.
We don't know about that. Anyways.
Bro, you
so,
do not do drugs.
You don't do drugs.
No comment.
Drugs do you.
Anyways.
I don't even think that's
Damien's
true.
actually coming out of a K-hole as we speak.
Oh no! What? Okay. So, for those of you who don't know, my family, we're all big on scuba diving. And my parents, they go to Southeast Asia almost every year. This is my first time I got to go along. And let me tell you, it was fucking amazing.
Keep going, we're just laughing.
Sorry.
Your story is just really funny, dude.
There was a really funny joke that was said. I think, Austin, can you please...
One, 2, 3, 4, buckle some more. 5, 6, Nike kicks. Oh, that is so fire!
Sorry,
I am
Damien.
losing brain cells.
Sorry, Damien. Continue.
And I don't have any to
You're the most on the spectrum here, dude.
I'm not on the spectrum.
You are.
Oh, you're on the spectrum, all right, buddy. We're not going to argue it. Go ahead with your story.
Not a
I'm
different
sorry.
episode.
Okay, so throughout this whole journey, I was gone about a week and a half or so, and I got to go to multiple different countries. I got to go to New York City as well, and overall, it was very cool. And we're going to take you what happened through my day-by-day operations.
Did you have any bratwurst?
I did not, and we'll get to that on day 2. What?
I'm sorry.
I forgot. Yeah.
I'm 2 Tito's in.
Yeah, we have
He's
to remind
corned
you, because we were back in person, Eli, once again, is drunk. Unlike...
dude.
Eli's now throwing, I think,
Buckets.
pieces of wax.
He is tuned up.
So continue. We're starting, getting out there.
Starting off...
First, in New York.
Well, theoretically, I didn't start in New York, because we kind of had a letdown.
Continue.
Right off the bat, my parents, they leave about a week ahead of me. And I'm farm sitting. The whole time, they're sending me notifications they forgot shit, something fucked up. One of the airlines actually shattered one of their suitcases. So I had to bring materials to fix said suitcase. Anyway.
With what, duct tape and hopes?
Duct tape and hopes. Like, the wheel was gone, the whole suitcase itself was cracked and shattered.
That's funny.
It was pretty bad. And there's a shit ton of duct tape on this suitcase now.
Okay.
Anyway, I go drive to Atlanta. And of course, when you're driving to Atlanta, you have to stop at Buc-ee's. I was disappointed. There was no fresh chopped brisket on the board.
What time did you get there?
I got there probably right at 1 o'clock.
They don't do it.
Yeah, I didn't know that until I got
Why
there.
do you think I keep telling you guys?
Damion, this just tells me that you're a poor planner.
Ooh.
I was trying to catch my plane. Sorry. Anyway, I get past Buc-ee's, I go to the airport. I end up choosing probably the worst parking lot, and I spend a lot of money on parking, which I don't know.
How much did you spend?
We'll get to that after.
No, go ahead and tell
How
us.
much did you spend on parking?
I spent $220 on parking.
Oh my god.
Dude, what?
How much?
That's
Say that
more
again?
than I pay in Nashville.
$220.
Oh my god.
You know, I spent just about that much on a magic deck recently.
I wouldn't spend that much on a whore.
It was like 18, 19 bucks a day times however many days that is plus
For
tax.
free, bro.
You should have just had someone drop you off at the airport.
I couldn't. I dropped my parents off at the airport.
I would have dropped
Dude,
Could have
why
gotten
didn't you
one
hit
of
me
us.
We would have dropped.
You wanted to drive 2.5 hours.
Recording again.
So, you went and dropped your parents off and then paid $220 for parking?
Not necessarily. So my parents flew out of Knoxville, so I had to pick their car up from Knoxville.
Okay.
But then, so I left, a week later, and I had to leave my car in Atlanta because I had no one to, take me to Atlanta, and it was insanely expensive for me to fly out of Knoxville.
Okay.
So on the way back, after I paid, and I had to go down to Atlanta this past week to go pick up my parents from the airport. But yeah, I paid a lot of money in parking. In retrospect, I'm getting a hotel for next trip, and I'm just not going to pay that much in parking. So,
Are you going to pay, never mind, continue. So,
airport. Get to the airport, I start going through security and all that shit.
They cut your butt a little bit.
No, not here.
Oh!
Yeah.
You must have been pretty
Dude.
disappointed.
Surely they didn't do it in Singapore. They're onto something there.
Spoiler alert, it happened in Singapore.
Can you blame them?
They're
No,
trying to.
I was scared.
They're trying to convert you
To what?
To what?
female.
Oh.
I'm not sure I want to
So,
be converted.
Get on the plane, go
That
to New
makes
York.
one of us.
We're not
I
on
want
the
you to
plane
be
yet,
converted.
so I get to my gate, and all the alarms in the airport start going off.
Wait, which at Atlanta?
I'm in the Atlanta airport.
That
I'm
doesn't
sitting at
surprise
my
me.
gate.
Is it because we sent you with a bomb?
What?
What?
No.
Oh.
Tyler's not working for national security.
I would never work for the Department
Oh,
of
yeah.
Defense.
Hey, by the
I
way,
also don't work for
I
the
am not
government, so-
associated with any thoughts or anything of anyone of this podcast.
I am also
except
not
me.
associated with said. This trip is kind of balmy.
Everything
But,
I say is 100%
I'm also not
fact and not satirical.
again, Eli is corned up.
I'm also not associated with any thoughts.
Austin also agrees, but I'm speaking for him.
Everyone here
I
besides
should-
me is
I should
pathological
say it.
You should
liars.
say it.
I'm gonna say it. This is Austin. I'm not associated with anybody else's thoughts and opinions. My thoughts and opinions are my own.
You guys are so fake.
I still would stand behind my statement that I would not pay $220 for a horse.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
So continue.
So the alarms just start going off at the airport for a solid 15 minutes, and I see the staff guys running around up and down the hallways, and security comes by, and then the alarms just go off, and everyone starts acting like nothing happens. It's like they had a massive security break. They were saying code 3 over the intercom and flashing lights, and everyone's running around.
You know what Code 3 is, right?
I don't know what code 3 is.
Someone found a bomb on one of the planes.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
We'll see.
That's bullshit Tyler just said.
Yeah.
No,
very.
Tyler's smiling, so it makes me think that Tyler just says some
I
bullshit.
feel like Tyler's trying to gaslight. He has a history of gaslighting.
What the fuck are you two talking?
Ignore us.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, microphone. Can you please ignore Austin and Eli?
Edit it out.
No, you won't.
Well, if it's that easy, then someone else edit.
No.
No.
No, we weren't saying that we would edit. We're just saying that you are not going to stand by your word.
Fuck you.
It's true.
I'm good. Thank
Shut
you.
up. Look, the only reason you're able
Alright,
to do
we'll
this
be
right now is because
respectful.
I brought my goddamn
respectful.
computer
We'll be
to this
respectful.
goddamn gayest place in town.
We'll be respectful.
We could have recorded on phone audio.
Sorry, Eli ended the podcast.
No, I did
there.
not.
He did.
I'm gonna kill you with my cock.
Okay, Eli,
That's
you're
important.
Damion. Please continue, Eli,
I don't
Damion.
care.
Anyway, we get on the plane. We fly to New York City. We land at LaGuardia. And we land at about 10 o'clock. LaGuardia is one of the 3 airports in New York City.
I'm pretty sure it's LaGuardia.
It's LaGuardia.
I don't believe you.
I was just there.
I don't
Okay,
believe you.
Damion. Continue.
So eventually, by the end of the day, I have to make it to JFK. So I have about 10 hours to do whatever the fuck I want to in New York City. And New York City, I'm not quite sure what I was expecting, but it was pretty a unique experience. Would I want to live there? Definitely not. But
Well, duh. How could you
Uh,
do that? Did you get mugged or something?
I did not get mugged.
Even though you were
I was
asking
concerned.
for it.
I was asking for it. I was walking around New York City with Bucky's hoodie on.
It wasn't just that, it was the way you were acting too. For the
Damian
snaps that
stuck
you sent.
out like a sore
I
dog.
did.
It's terrible. I would have mugged him. I don't want to mug him right now.
They don't even know what a Buc-ee's is up there.
You would be surprised how many people ask me about Bucky's.
That's because there's a bunch of tourists up there. It's New York fucking city.
Yeah.
I mean, that's very fair. I feel like I'm getting mugged right now.
I guarantee you a single Jewish person did not ask about Buc-ee's.
How would I know
why
they're
would
Jewish?
that? Why would that matter?
Because all the Jewish people live in New York City.
Oh, okay. I don't think that's.
Have
Have
you
you
even-
even,
have
have
you
you
even
even
seen
seen Seinfeld?
That doesn't count.
No,
That's
I'm
fictional.
I'm
It
agreeing
definitely
with you,
counts.
Eli.
Oh, okay. Oh, thank
I've
you.
not
Thank you.
seen.
That does count.
Yeah.
Actually, I do know somebody who's Jewish who doesn't live in New York
What's
City.
the name?
Is it Seinfeld's
It's my-
parents who
my
live in
brother's
Florida?
girlfriend.
Those are the only people.
That doesn't count. Girls aren't real. You're sorry.
Okay, what about your dad?
Again, most of our thoughts are.
I don't believe them.
You think that girls are real, Damian?
I didn't say that.
Chicks with dicks. Oh god.
All right, let's get to the
That's
the-
later
the-
on. I forgot actually.
So, probably my favorite part of the New York City day was the fact that I got to go to the Akiway Deli. The infamous Akiway Deli
What
from
the fuck
TikTok.
is the
Is it
Akiway Deli?
infamous?
I've never heard of
I'm
that.
pretty sure it's just famous.
I don't even
It's
think
pretty
it's
famous.
famous.
What? I've never heard of.
Wait, hold on. Damian, do you know the difference between famous and infamous?
Whatever. I misspoke. I'm sorry.
No, what's the difference?
I mean,
Yeah,
famous is like very well known.
What is infamous?
It's like the opposite.
No.
Okay, continue. Damien,
Just like, even by that definition, you were wrong.
Continue. Damien, continue.
Akiway Deli, it was really good, really expensive, but it was definitely worth my 2-hour stroll to Brooklyn.
How much did you spend?
At the Akiway Deli, I spent $21 for a sandwich and a drink.
That's expensive.
You mean a sandwich with Bev?
And a bev, because you can't forget the bev.
You have to stay on theme, brother.
I know, I'm sorry. But I saw the Trump Tower, I went to Rockefeller Center, you know, I did all the touristy shit besides go to the Statue of Liberty. Which,
You're not missing much. I've been there once. It's just a statue.
It is.
I would like to go to the Statue.
I want to see the little red
Why? So you can
lighthouse.
come on its
That would be cool, too.
Did you see the little
That's-
White House?
What? No.
Man, okay, I'm gonna real fast. So basically, there's a children.
This is Damien's podcast.
Okay, about that.
No, go ahead.
There's a children book, basically about a little red lighthouse, and the Brooklyn Bridge came in, and so the lighthouse wasn't needed anymore because of the lighting the water.
Right.
And the power went out one night. And the little red I keep saying lighthouse had to be used again, and so they always use it every so often. It's based off a little red White House near the Brooklyn Bridge or something like that.
A little
Red lighthouse.
Joe City.
I know it still said it.
Where does the
Okay.
president live?
And I was really mad. So I went to New York. We were supposed to see it, and it rained. I was never able to see it, and I still hate New York for that sole reason. Also, I just generally
It's
do not
kind of
like New
unfortunate.
York.
I mean, that's a fair argument. That's a valid argument.
Fuck Kentucky.
Anyway, eventually I make it to the airport. And I meet this couple. They're about my age, and they're actually going to Indonesia too, and they have the same exact route as me. So we talk for a while, and yada yada yada. We become friends. Sorry, there is background events occurring that are very autistic. Anyways, probably the best part.
The autistic events are in the foreground.
So I'm about to catch on a flight from JFK to Frankfurt, Germany, which is really cool. So this airplane I got on, it was a double-decker airplane.
Like the double-decker couch from the Lego movie?
Like a
double-decker bus in London?
Yes.
I didn't know that was a thing.
It's a double-decker plane.
Oh,
It was
you're
really
for real right now?
Yes.
Oh, shit. That's kind of cool.
Yes.
I feel like if I fart on the top level, the bottom level.
No, it goes the other way. Heat rises.
It was a big-ass plane.
Damion, that's probably the coolest. Your farts are warm? Damion, that's probably the
You
coolest
fart
thing
cold?
that you experienced.
I don't know. I experienced some pretty cool shit.
I don't know. Cold shit? Damion, please not pull up a
Damion.
that started to show the podcast.
I'm not. I was going to show you guys simply.
We don't need it.
We're on a
Damion,
podcast,
we're on a
Damion.
podcast. Dude, that's such a good wood block noise.
Anyway, I get to Frankfurt, and Frankfurt, you know, I'm not sure exactly what I was expecting, but
Frankfurt, Germany?
it's Frankfurt, Germany.
Okay.
So it all seemed very industrial to me.
You're
Like-
still recovering. What do you mean?
Those are the
I
gym
definitely
burning facilities.
slightly thought that.
They're getting ready for round 3.
Oh, boy.
So once I get off the airport and I go through customs and border control and all this shit, it literally took me like 15 minutes. They were super efficient. I got my passport stamped and I was on my way.
Border.
Yeah.
I barely know her.
Anyways, start going, and I come out in the main train station in Frankfurt, which at most it will have like almost 40 trains in the station. It's super big, it's super architectural, and there are all these pastries and cafes and all these delis and shit in it. It was really cool, really good pastries. Best pastries I've ever had. And I started walking around downtown Frankfurt, and it was very weird. I thought being in Germany, I would see a shit ton of Volkswagens. I barely saw any Volkswagens going up and down the streets. There's still a lot of autism happening in the background.
I still think it's in the foreground.
My bad.
Damion, keep going.
We're on a podcast.
We want to
I'm
hear
sorry.
your story, Damion.
Oh, it doesn't seem like it.
We're just kicking. Yeah. We're just
My bad.
chilling. I have to have a reason to watch the podcast.
Have you
Oh.
guys seen that one movie from Disney XD Kicking It?
No. What?
Yeah.
Tyler knows what I'm talking about.
He knows.
That was like Cobra Kai for like people before Cobra Kai.
Dude, I love Cobra Kai.
Then you should watch Kicking It.
No. You should. Damion, continue.
So I
They have
get
falafels in the show.
so Frankfurt's about 6 hours time difference from here. I'm 6 hours ahead of Tennessee. Anyway, I get there, and after I have pastries, it's getting close to lunchtime. So I then spend 3 hours hunting for a restaurant to have a German bratwurst, which you think it would be easy, but apparently it's fucking not. You can't find a bratwurst anywhere in
Well,
Frankfurt.
yeah,
I spent
that
3
is-
hours
dude,
looking for it.
That's a racist assumption.
Yeah, Damion,
It is,
why are
I'm
you-
sorry.
Are you being racist right now?
Well, here's the other thing.
Did you try?
We do
Googling
not
the
support
place?
racism.
we do not.
I did, and I was struggling. Anyway, I also didn't have the best cell reception, so I couldn't really get too far. Also, everyone I asked, they refused to speak English to me. Most Germans speak English and German. The only German who spoke English to me was a panhandler who first asked me in German for money, and then he swapped to English solely to ask me for money, and then when I said I just got here, I don't have any change, he ran after a girl jogging down the road.
Maybe you just
Hey,
look German.
Hey, Damion, I got a question.
I don't look German.
Hey, Damion, I got a question.
What's up?
Do you think that means the German people just didn't fucking like you?
I think that's also a very solid possibility. I think it's a very solid possibility they don't like Americans.
You should have just hit him with the
Why would they
Ikaba
like
Irish
Americans? I don't know.
I thought about it and I didn't.
You don't have any blood from Israel, do you?
I don't think so.
You haven't had a test, have you?
All my blood's from Russia and Poland.
I don't believe that.
It is.
Well, the Germans
the
weren't too big on
Poles.
Poland either.
Oh,
They weren't.
That's what it is.
They wanted to conquer you.
They didn't.
They kind of did.
I didn't get my rompers, but I got beer, and I could say my first legal beer. I may not be able to drink legally here. I was able to drink legally in Germany, and
But
it was
boy, oh boy,
fucking
can this
awesome.
man drink illegally here.
Well, let me tell you.
Actually, we're not going to tell you.
Vitamin
Yeah,
water.
that's never happened.
Not
we
once.
follow the law.
Yeah, we're very large.
We
obeying
did.
people.
Going for the ground.
I do.
But
Anyway, drank beer in Germany, walked around some more, got some souvenirs.
Got back
And
on the plane.
Not yet. Apparently, authentic German steins are insanely fucking expensive. It was like 70, 80 euros for one stein. And
What the fuck is a stein?
Well, that's
it's like
a
a
cup.
yeah, like a German
Okay.
mug, like a
Okay.
like antique German beer mug. So that was kind of a bummer. Anyway, when I was coming into the country, the dude at the desk, he said I need to be there 3 hours before my boarding time. And so I was like, okay, so I get back, I started heading back on the train. I missed my stop, and I actually go deeper into a different part of Frankfurt and almost get lost. But get back to the airport, and I literally go through security in like 15 minutes, and so I'm stuck waiting. My plane doesn't leave till 10. I'm at the airport at 6 through security, so I just drink beer and pretzels in the airport for like 3 hours.
pretzels?
I did. It's pretty cool.
Bro, it was like a milkshake. Oh, Eli's
Can you
having
drink
a-
pretzels?
Eli's having a spasm.
I haven't
Eli's
tried.
having a spasm. I need to say, I have to say that Eli is having a spasm.
I'm not.
I have some good news, guys. Eli is no longer having a spasm.
It's Austin's fault.
So next, we're about to board a 12-hour flight. We're no longer on the double-decker plane, which is sad. This is Singapore.
This is gonna be the
This-
worst podcast we've made since ever.
This is arguably my worst flight ever. I was sitting on the inside, and there was a German couple sitting beside me, and they were just rude, and the German dude sitting in the middle, he fell asleep on my shoulder multiple times, even after I kept pushing him off. I was having an awful experience. I couldn't sleep on the plane. It was cramped. The food was bad. In fact, the German people spat out their food and hit the chair in front of them, which was kind of funny.
Skill issue.
And they couldn't figure out when I wanted to go to the bathroom. It took me 5 to 10 minutes of saying toilet for them to understand I wanted to go take a piss.
Why didn't you just click on them?
Why
I thought about it.
Hold up, Damion, why didn't you just find the translation?
The translation is toilet.
Oh, damn.
That's a.
Damn, you just kind of suck then.
It's toilet.
Literally, the Germans hated me.
I don't.
Yeah, it just sounds like they just didn't like you.
They didn't.
It's because you're a stereotypical American.
That's probably exactly what happened. Anyway, we finally landed in Singapore. I have like a 2-hour layover to Singapore, no biggie. And we did not get body searched yet. Not this time around.
I think that all of these German people that Damien encountered now have a story about this super rude American stereotype who visited their country.
It's very possible. Anyway, we go to Singapore, and then we hop on our flight to Bali.
Motherfucker got off the plane and said, "Where's the sausage?"
That's pretty much what happened. So,
Damion, you are a stereotypical American.
But
I'm not saying you're
okay,
wrong.
But no, that'd be the same shit if I went to like Sweden or some shit. I'd get off that plane and be like, where the fuck's IKEA?
So we get to Bali, and this is arguably one of my favorite parts of the trip. So in the Bali airport, they have what's called a pod hotel. And this pod hotel is basically, it's like an escape pod from Star Trek or Star Wars. And you literally just have enough room to sleep, and it's like 2 feet tall, and it has lights, radio, TV, you name it, it's there. And it was a really fucking cool experience.
It did look really cool.
So
It looked like I could just sleep in a little narrow cave.
that's pretty, but it was really cool. I enjoyed it
It
thoroughly.
was a man-made little narrow cave.
And therefore it was better.
It was better. Okay, thank you. Anyway, slept there, caught on my flight the following morning, and now I'm flying to Komodo Airport, which is in a city called Labuan Bajo, Indonesia. And for the record, we are now south of the equator. I'm sorry, there's the same autism is reoccurring.
Damian, stop being fucking retarded. Just tell your story.
I'm not the retarded one.
What's stopping you?
man, you're cute.
Nothing.
Damion, you keep
Name
stopping for no
one.
reason.
Name one person that's not retarded.
Me.
You named the wrong person, Damien.
You're wrong.
Okay, so I get to Labuan Bajo. The what? Labuan Bajo.
Did you know that's French?
I want to go to Labuan.
Damion loved the Laboon.
Isn't that the museum in France?
Yes. Anyway, land Laboon Bajo. We land in Laboon Bajo, and I have about 4 hours before my boat ride to my little park in Komodo National Park. And I end
Do
up
they
going.
have Komodo dragons there?
In Komodo National Park, they do.
Crazy.
Did you go to the national park?
I was scuba diving in the national
Did you
park.
fight a Komodo dragon?
I did not. The
Did you
Komodo
have
dragons were
intimate
scared.
relations with one?
I did not. They were scared.
Did you have sexual intercourse with one?
I did not, and that's pretty much the same question Eli
Did
just
you
asked.
have sexual relations with that lizard? I did not.
Which hole did you fuck with that lizard?
There were no holes fucking with said lizard.
Why are you lying, Damion?
I am not lying.
Oh,
Okay,
no.
to give context,
He,
how long
he
before
was
we
the
were
one
walking
whose
with-
holes were utilized.
Oh. We were given a very suspicious Snapchat video, so that's what we're questioning this. Continue with
What?
the story.
Okay. Anyway, eventually while I'm waiting, some dude asked me if I want to go to a cave, and I looked at going to the cave.
Wait. Some dude.
Yeah, so Laboon
Like,
Bajo
hold
is
on,
very
hold on.
touristy.
Like off the street?
Off the street. Laboon Bajo, most of their income from the city is all based on tourism. So taxi drivers literally stop everyone they see on the side of the road, and they're like, do you need a ride? Do you want to go some places? And they target specific hot spots. And this cave called Mirror Cave was one of them that I was looking at going. And the guy charged me $3 American to go to said cave that was 20 minutes away. I was like,
Pretty solid deal.
let's go to the cave. I get to the cave and it's $3 to get in, and then it's $3 for a guided tour.
Damion,
I was like,
I have a question.
what's up?
Did the guy also offer you $20? Damion, if you
did not.
you lived on human traffic.
Are you implying that Damion isn't
a third of the size of me.
Okay, that might
They
be.
just have to.
They would need a whole army.
They just have to gang
There
up
are
on
women in our audience. Damien's Snapchat is in the description. He's hella cute. And
He's got a mad
fat
dumper.
ass.
All right. Anyway, I go to the cave, and eventually they say we need to wear hard hats to go into the cave, and they show us where a dead body is just hanging up in the ceiling, which I thought was kind of odd, but I was like, let's go with it. And there were snakes, and there were frogs, and spiders, and all the cool shit in the cave. Eventually, I make it back, get on my boat, and we
There were
start.
spiders in the cave?
Yeah,
like in
Magic
Minecraft?
Did you
spiders.
become Spider-Man?
I did.
Can you
There's a
show
reason-
me?
There's a reason you've never seen me and Spider-Man in a room together.
It's because I'm Spider-Man. That's why.
Damion.
Stick to
Damian.
my penis.
Damion.
Yes, sir.
With you going in a cave, did Orange Man follow you?
I did not see Orange Man.
He's a
I don't think. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think he
yeah.
has his passport.
I don't think Orange Man has his visa.
I did have to pay $30 for a visa. Anyways, start heading on the boat, and we get there. I get there, and I'm bunking with this Australian dude who's really cool. His name is Duncan, and he's also that's right. Anyway, this guy was also like 25 years older than me,
Okay.
but
You like old men?
no,
You don't like older men.
They're not my type.
anyway,
You know, this room is full of men that are older than you. Do you not like us?
not my type.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm sorry to burst your bubble.
Eli. Damien just said you're not his type.
No,
No, no, God.
Don't think pants off.
Okay, Zach.
Hey, you're lucky
Get
I'm
it?
not retarded.
Eli,
Yeah,
you are retarded.
I'm so right.
Oh my god.
So anyway, I meet up with my parents at this time, and we spend the evening talking. We get our gear ready, and then we are now on Monday, and today's my first diving day. So, guys, we're about to get to a really interesting part. This is one of the two times I almost died on the trip.
Oh, Damian did almost die.
I almost died twice on the trip. Or if I died, seriously, possibly could have gotten fucked up. So,
Okay. Remember when I said Tyler wasn't autistic?
If you're wondering who made the monkey noises, it was Tyler.
I'm taking it back. Tyler is now autistic.
So how'd you almost die?
okay, so normally when you have your first dive trip after a while, you once you jump in the water, you take a few minutes, you get all your weights figured out because your weight level it depends on the density of the salt water. you're getting, or the density of the water itself, because some people freshwater dive. And, you make sure all your gear is good, and, you just check yourself, quote unquote.
Before you wreck yourself?
Pretty much. So the first dive site, they gave us what's called a pinnacle dive, which is basically, it's like an underground pyramid, like the reef is in a pyramid shape, but there's a shit ton of current.
Like a triangle?
Yes. So if you don't go down immediately, you get swept out to open sea. Not open sea, but what?
Did you get swept out to open sea?
No.
Okay.
Almost. I was right beside the boat, but we're about to get to the good part. So I jump in the water, and I'm like, I don't have enough weight. And my group, they just leave me on the surface. So the boat, they keep passing me weights. And eventually they're like, okay, you need to go under. So they give me like 20 extra pounds. And scuba diving, that's a shit ton of weight. And eventually I'm sinking like a rock. But then me and the boat get pushed so far off the reef, they have to start dragging me back. Now, also at this time, what's called my BCD, it's my buoyancy compensator device, it's the vest I wear that I can inflate to keep me afloat on the surface. It wasn't working. So I had all this extra weight, and I was fighting to stay on the surface because it wasn't inflating. And I couldn't manually inflate it because I was busy using my hands to try to catch onto the boat because they were going to try to, bring me back to the group before I got so far away and they got so deep. So eventually they grabbed hold, and I didn't realize they were going to go to Mach 50. They went to Mach 50, and I'm just holding onto the side, and the guy grabs my hand. He's like, okay, I got you. So I'm just casually sinking. I got my regulator, and I'm like, oh God, here we go. Still no air in my BCD, and I have like 30 pounds of weight on my body. Eventually, my fins start falling off, and we're not doing good because we're going like 45 miles an hour on the surface. I'm sinking. I eventually catch up to one of the groups that had also drifted off. And the dive master of that group's like, what happened? I'm like, it looks like I got left. And then instantly I realized my air to my vest wasn't connected. And we're at a place where they do everything for you. So there was a lot of problems with that. I got left. I had no air on my vest. It just wasn't good. And my parents, they were with the group, and they were under the impression the dive master was going up. There was a whole communication error. The dive master was apparently trying to void the dive out, cancel, go back up, and they didn't get that. And so the whole group stayed underwater for like 30 minutes, not knowing what to do. Well, I'm getting drugged on the surface, mostly underwater, sinking. So I lost the dive because of that. Me too. Anyway, next few dives, they work out pretty good. I see manta rays, blue ring octopuses, a bunch of sharks, you name it, I saw it, besides a frogfish. And
What's a frog?
It's a fish that's also a frog.
Okay.
pretty much. It's really cool. It's one of my favorite sea creatures. And there's thousands of different types.
My favorite sea creature is the Loch Ness Monster.
That's a good sea creature.
Maverick, are you Snapchatting during the podcast?
No. What an awful person.
Austin, too?
Wow.
You guys are gay homosexuals. Don't hit me, you gay homosexual. Help, I'm being assaulted by gays. They're
Anyways.
so violent. Antifa.
Weird. So, also,
Didn't expect
in
that
this
one, did you?
in this little place we're staying at, it's called Scuba Junkies. The island is full of monkeys, and the monkeys will throw stuff at your hut.
They prefer...
To be called African Americans. Okay?
They were
Maverick
actual
said
monkeys.
it.
I do not associate myself with Maverick.
Me neither.
So the monkeys are sitting there and they're throwing stuff at our places and they're running around, and there's just a shit ton of monkeys, and there was fresh fruit, coconuts, you name it, and they were just kind of using that as ammunition.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was cool. Next day we get on a flight. We take our hour boat ride, get on a flight. We go to our next place, and we go to this island that it has 2 villages and then our dive resort.
Wait, Damion, did you not bring me back a monkey?
I did not. I couldn't fit it in my carry-on. Anyways, so at this next dive resort, it's also, they do everything, which is really cool. And we're about to get to the part where I almost die again. So anyway, we're going out on our first dive, and the dive master, I guess he doesn't understand my understand our language, our diving codes, and so I kept flashing my signs for I'm running out of air, and apparently he doesn't get the message. Also, for the record, we are in metric system diving. I'm used to American system, so I couldn't really fully translate to what I was supposed to be.
Skill issue.
Yeah, it was definitely a skill issue. But, so I got down to what was 200 bars, which is very fucking low air for the metric system.
It sounds like it's a lot of bars.
It's not a lot of bars.
I mean,
my bad. 200 bars is a lot. It's 20 bars. I was down to 20 bars.
Oh, that's a lot less bars.
That's a lot less bars. And I was at 60 foot, and I kept flashing the dive guide, and he didn't get it.
You were
so
flashing the
I
dive guy?
was. I was flashing him my symbols. Eventually, my parents check my air gauge, and they start freaking out because I'm running out of air. And then the dive guide, he looks over after, my parents start grabbing at his fins and tugging on him. And he sees how low of air I am, and he gives me my octo, and we have to swim up for 20 minutes, glued to the side of him.
The reason they had to do that is because of stupid pressure.
Yeah, pressure, nitrogen, and all this other shit. But yeah, that was the second time I almost died. But we saw a lot of cool stuff, and my last dive at this place was arguably my favorite dive. It had sharks hunting below us. It was basically a whole reef wall, and there were moray eels, there were scorpion fish, there were parrotfish, there were Pegasus sea moth, there were octopuses, there were squid, there were cuttlefish. It was a really good dive. I did not. One of them inked at me, though.
Inked at you.
I know, right? But anyways, very good dive. Very good. It was probably one of my favorite dives. Eventually, I burned my air a little bit quicker than the rest of the group, so I got to spend a little more time with the boat crew. I got to know the boat crew really well, and we started making jokes. And apparently no one over there, if you say America, you're from America, they don't know. But as soon as you say America, everyone gets it. They're like, oh, America! And for some reason, that they made a big deal over that. But the two dive guides, or the two dive helpers, one of them was named Rami, and the other one was named John. I think that was just because his Indonesian name was a little bit harder to say. But he very much liked John Cena, and he liked getting photos of him. He liked seeing himself in photos and stuff.
That's so cool.
It was. It was really cool. I tipped him very well at the end, and he gave me a hug. He was very gracious. Okay. So later that evening, we're on the last dive day because I have to decompress, get all the nitrogen out of my system before I fly. We do a tour of the villages. And now the villages are completely opposite. One of them loves people.
Dude, you went to a Minecraft village?
Whoa.
They don't sound like Minecraft villagers. They were defective villages. They did.
Wait, did they actually?
Then they had farmers, and they had shipbuilders and fishermen.
Bro.
They were living in a society.
But they weren't doing that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did they have their arms crossed in front of them?
They did not.
All of
It was
Do
kind
they
of
have-
upsetting.
Do they have really big noses and a lot of emeralds?
Some of them had big noses, and they all definitely liked money.
What about Iron Golem?
I didn't see any iron golems.
Cats?
They did have cats. There were lots of cats.
Bro. This sounds like they have more similarities with a Minecraft village than not. So.
I guess the next thing I'm about to say is kind of also similar.
Was their blacksmith already raided?
Don't know. I didn't go raid the blacksmith.
Dude,
So,
what you're supposed to do.
The other village I saw was a
Did
little
you
bit
burn this
smaller.
village?
I didn't burn the village. There were 2 villages on the island. This other village, they were all inbred.
What? What?
They're all related on the island. It's very much you date your sister and you have kids, or your family friend, or your cousin. They're very big on inbred. And they don't go leave their village besides going to the other village to get shit.
Family is very important.
It is. It's
They
very
must really-
important.
they would love it. Oh, I was gonna make a Fast and Furious joke.
Oh, sorry.
But the cool thing was we got to ride motorcycles between village to village, which is really fucking awesome. But yeah, it was a really cool experience. There were a ton of good photos and views. So this second place we stayed at, the owner of it used to own a bistro in France. So every meal we had was 3-course gourmet 5-star meals.
Were they French?
They were French. We had lobster and grouper bolognese. We had baguettes. We had crepes. We had creme brulee. And she did all of her presentation. They did. They did all of their presentations like super fucking fancy. Like for fruit salad, they cut up all the fruit into like stick figures, and they made like figurines out of the fruit. It was really fucking good. All the food was gourmet. I don't think I've ever eaten so well in my entire life. I had lobster and fish every single fucking day.
Oh yeah, Damion.
Oh yeah. Oh, let's see if you win the Olympics this time around.
You won't.
You don't know that.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Damion never wins the Olympics.
yeah. I feel like there's a prophecy that has to live on.
You can't win the
I
Olympics.
can. I feel like I get robbed.
Damion, you don't get robbed. You just get out.
I've gotten robbed of cooking at least
You've
twice.
never gotten robbed.
I have.
You're cooking. Hey, can I get everyone that agrees that Damien's been robbed to say I?
Damon, you're the only one that thinks you got robbed.
Yeah. I don't care.
Do you think that there's like somebody trying to stop you from winning who would like throw events just so you would lose or something?
Yes.
That would never happen.
I mean, me never.
He's a few Tito's. So, anyway, we're now on to the last day of my trip. My last day in Indonesia. And I've got 3 flights to catch to get to Singapore that evening. Anyway, my second flight of the day gets delayed for like an hour and a half. And we're finally back in Komodo Airport, which I was really pissed because they made me completely leave the airport. And I had to go back through security, customs, and all this shit.
Did they check your butthole?
No, they did not. We're almost to that part.
Oh, my favorite part. It's coming up.
So,
It's coming.
NSFW warning.
so eventually I start worrying about my time getting crunched because I have a private driver for the evening in Bali, and his name is G'day. And I start texting him like, hey, my flight got delayed. And eventually I get to Bali, and it takes me an hour and a half to get my bag from the carousel because they were just so fucking slow. So I used to have like 6 hours with them, and now I'm down to 2 hours before I have to be back at the airport.
Sounds like a skill issue.
It was a skill
It
issue.
sounds like you're not going to have a good day.
I did have a good day because I got seafood and a lot of beer on the beach, watching the sun go down, getting drunk and tuned up. And it was a really good meal, and he showed me around Bali the parts he could. There was a shit ton of traffic. So, I get back to the airport, and we're about to fly home, and I'm going through security. They're checking my bags, and I meet this chick, and her name's Eloise, and she's from British, and she's trying to catch her. She's from British.
You said it again.
I did.
Don't think we're paying attention. We sure are.
So eventually we start poking at each other, because our bags both get soft security, and like my back just got touched. Anyway, we go through security. We didn't know we were on the same flight, and eventually we see we're on the same flight, and we start talking. We talk for a long time, and our flight to Singapore gets delayed, and she's worried she's going to miss her flight. And I have a 12-hour. It kind of seems like it. I have a 12-hour delay in Singapore, or not delay, layover. And so the game plan was she was going to spend those 12 hours with me, except if she missed her flight, but she made her flight, so I kind of spent 12 hours alone.
Why did you spend 12 hours?
Because she made her flight.
I did. Someday you should ruin her plane.
She had a 20-minute layover and made it. The plane, they held her plane.
You should have put gallium on the aluminum frame of the plane so that it would make.
Because I just had gallium laying around.
I have gallium laying around.
That makes
Tyler,
more.
Tyler is joking. He does not.
No, I actually do.
No,
I have
he
it.
does not.
It's not illegal to own.
I know.
I have tannerite in my ass.
You have tannerite in your casserole?
Yeah.
I'm gonna send you a snap later tonight proving that I have gallium just laying
Tyler,
around.
we believe you.
Maverick doesn't.
I do.
I believe you.
But if you put that on the aluminum frame of a plane,
It
It'll
does
make-
a cool thing.
it'll make
Does it?
You should try it.
It'll make
Okay.
it really brittle and
So-
compromise the integrity of the plane.
So we land in
You're not allowed to
Singapore.
bring gallium on airplanes.
We land in Singapore, and Eventually, I'm trying to go for one of these sleeping rooms. The Singapore airport has like 6 or 7 sleeping rooms, and I go to 4 of them because I'm trying to get a night's rest. Well, all the sleeping rooms are full, so I have to sleep on the floor in the airport, which is not comfortable at all. So, in the morning, I go through customs, border control, and I'm trying to go to the Jewel. For those of you who don't know, the Singapore airport, it was voted the best airport in the world last year, and it's solely because of the Jewel. Now,
What about this year? How's it doing this year?
I don't know. I haven't checked its stats. Now, the Singapore airport, what it has inside, it's called the Jewel. And basically, there's a waterfall inside the airport, and there's a whole nature park around it. It makes...
That did look cool as fuck. I didn't say anything about when we said that video. I agree with that. I was like, whoa.
Well, we're about to get to the sad part. I spent so much time getting to the Jewel. They had the waterfall turned off, and none of the shops, stores, restaurants, anything were open. The only thing you had access to was like half of the park.
So you didn't even get to experience the coolest airport in the world?
I didn't. It was 11 o'clock. My flight left in an hour and a half, and the coolest part of the airport was shut down. I was so miserable, I didn't even buy a souvenir mug. And for those of you who know, I love my fucking souvenir mugs. And
It'd be a shame if someone ever broke one of your mugs.
it would definitely be a shame. I would probably cry. So, anyways, I get back to my gate, and at Singapore they have the security. They have another level of security, and it's at the gates itself. And this was at the point where they thoroughly pat my body down for 5 minutes, trying to see if I have shit.
They wanted to call
down.
Yeah, which parts of their body did they touch, and can you
Did they
demonstrate?
touch your titties?
They touched every single part of me besides actually holding the package.
So their finger was on your butthole.
More or less.
Ooh.
They did not, like...
Was there
Damion-
penetration?
I don't believe there was
Damion-
penetration.
It would have been the funniest time ever in your life to shit your pants.
I thought about it. I really did. So yeah, eventually I get on this plane, and I'm now getting on what's called the world's longest flight. And it goes from Singapore to JFK. And it's about, on a good day, you can get 17 and a half hours. But it averages about 18 and a half.
JFK's dead.
The airport's not.
Junior fucking Kennedy.
He gets it. So, on this longest flight, they don't have regular economy, which is what I'm used to. They have what's called premium economy, which the seats were a lot better. And I definitely, next time I go to the side of the world, I'm doing the long haul flight again. It sounds awful being on a plane for 18 plus hours, but it really wasn't. The food was a lot better. The seats were big. They had giant TVs, leg rests, headrests, you name it, it was there. And the 18 hours went by really fast. And in Singapore and Indonesia, you're 12 hours ahead of Knoxville time. So I left the Singapore at 12 on Sunday, and I made it to JFK in New York City by 6 o'clock on Sunday. For the record, there's more autism happening in the background. Anyway.
I took their fidget toy.
Oh, did you?
Banana gun!
Eli's the one to shoot us.
So I finally land to JFK, and I, go through security, customs, border control. Super easy. It was by far a lot easier than the last time I immigrated into America. And
Wait.
Immigrate into America?
yeah, you have to immigrate back into America when you leave the country.
That's
You know what
not
that
how
word
works.
means?
Yeah,
Damion,
I do.
Hold on. Explain to the class what immigration is.
that's where you go to another country. Well, in my sentence structure, that's what it's meaning.
That's not what that means.
That's exactly what it means. It's immigration and border control.
No, it's
They don't call it migration. You can read the fucking signs. It's immigration when you immigrate into a country.
Okay,
That's not what you did.
That's not what you
That's
did.
exactly what I did. I immigrated back into America.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't.
I definitely did. What would you call it then?
Fucking coming back to America?
Yeah,
Immigration.
you have to go back through security and
Tyler,
customs and border control.
Immigration implies a permanent change in residence.
Yeah, but you have to go back and
No,
immigrate
that's it.
back
That's it.
into the
Yeah,
country.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, there's no more to that. There's just
No, there is more to that.
No, there's
Continue
not.
I had to
with
come
your-
back into the
Continue
country.
with your story.
Eventually I make it back to my gate and I catch a flight to Atlanta. I sat on the tarmac in the Atlanta airport for 2 hours. It was awful. My plane got delayed, and eventually I make it back. I walk an hour and a half back to my car, and we get to the point where I have to pay $220 for parking, which was awful. And then I drove back in the rain, and I went to work the following morning.
That sounds terrible.
It was awful. Well, you see, it wasn't bad initially because I was still on Indonesia time. So right around lunchtime, I started dying and going down. It was bad.
So I would love to clarify that Damion just told this entire complex a lie. I think he was in about Middle Tennessee the entire time.
Oh yeah,
That is correct.
There was multiple points. Maverick was trying to stab me and say that looks like a pretty solid Middle Tennessee or Melton.
Look, all I'm saying is like the whole time he was sending snaps, he did not send like any that had other people in them.
Any villagers. What was the deal there?
Bro, there were other villagers. I feel like someone's trying to touch my ear. What the fuck is that?
Eli has just put a substance on Damion's ear.
It's like fucking lube. I'm not licking it. I don't trust it. That's probably why I'm not going to lick it.
You don't want a salty surprise?
I don't. No, I'm good. There is so much autism happening.
5, 6,
Nike kicks. There's literally another person in this photo.
That's
a Middle Tennessean.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Dude, chill.
bro, it's all over. I saw you. It's like all over my fucking neck.
Eli's put more substance on Damion.
It was awesome.
And he's claiming it was awesome.
It was.
He did it to me too.
Don't put it on my
I'm
arm.
not- I'm
I don't
innocent.
want to come on my arm. Eli loves getting
He does.
He
He went to a
literally
gay
goes-
bar 7 times.
That's not
He
true. I
did.
went for a girl.
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
I did.
He
No,
went
he didn't.
7
No,
times. We were all witnesses. Oh, here's
No.
more important people.
That's
That
just,
was John and
like I said,
Ronnie.
my statement stands. That's just Melton Hill.
Oh
I
yeah.
hate gay people. 5, 6,
So Maverick, I've got a question.
kicks.
Does Melton Hill have its own shipwreck code?
Yeah.
Does it?
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to this week's edition. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment to let us know how we did. I would also like to note that nothing any of our hosts say at any point is to be taken seriously or as genuine advice. All hosts are simply adding their genuine personality to each episode, thus making this podcast the realest one yet. No cap.